New Dream Team, it's your favorite duo, Darian and
Mackenzie.
Back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with the first time you realize America really messed you up, part 5. I'm kind of scared to jump into this. I know we're going to hear about healthcare in this video.
Yeah.
They always talk about healthcare. I assume we're going to hear about feeling a lot safer and not worrying about like every bang being a gunshot or something like that. Those are the first two that, and I know we're gonna hear about food quality. Somebody gonna say something about food quality. Those are the 3 I know got to be in the video. Everything else we finna find out.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I have so many of these. So I currently live in London with my now husband, and when we were dating and I would come visit him because we were doing the whole long distance thing, you know, every time I would come, I would lose at least 5 pounds. Without a doubt, it happened every single time. And I truly think it's just because the food over here is required to be better for you, because I was not watching what I ate. We would eat desserts all the time. We were doing the touristy things, so we eat out a lot. And on top of that, I don't exercise when I'm over here, and I also am not walking around because I use my wheelchair. So, yeah, it's literally just because there's better food laws here in the United Kingdom instead of in the United States. So, there you go. That's my story.
I got the first one, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's one of the 3 I told you. I knew it was coming. But that is crazy. I've heard so many people say they like go over to Europe and just eat crazy, like fast food, all kinds of junk, and just still lose weight.
Yep.
Where
and a lot of them eat like the pastries and
exactly
desserts.
And then they say they come back to the U.S. and like they start eating the food here and they start getting sick. And I'm like, that's tough.
That's tough.
I said I can't go eat Europe food now because my body already adjusted to America, and I don't want to get adjusted to that and get sick when I come back here.
We'll just move over there.
There we go. That's a game plan. Oh, we're gonna keep it going.
So we live in Ireland, and our oldest is in senior infants, which is the equivalent of the second half of kindergarten. She did kindergarten back in the States, and she came home from school one day and she said, "Mommy, we had a drill today." And I went, "Oh, active shooter drill? No. Bomb threat? No. Mommy, it was a fire drill." Well, oh, okay. I mean, back home, she had active shooter drills every month in kindergarten. We get these phone calls, and it'd say, "Oh, in accordance with Florida law, blah, 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 everything's gone back to normal." And I'm just sitting there thinking of my kid hiding in a bathroom with 30 other kindergartners and her poor teacher trying to keep all these kids quiet. I'm like, that's not normal here. That's something we got used to because that's what America is. It's just one big active shooter drill.
Facts.
That was my second out of 3, though, right? That's the second. I knew we was gonna hear about that. But that is, I feel like we didn't have active shooter drills once a month at my school, though. Like,
no, I don't think we did either. I mean, we had them.
Yeah.
But not often.
I feel like maybe 1 to 2 times a school year we had at my school.
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like we had more fire drills.
Yeah.
Tornado drills.
Exactly.
More than we did active shooter drills. But we probably should have had more active shooter drills than anything.
Yeah. I mean, they're more bound to hit than I guess a tornado or a fire happening. Which I don't know the statistics behind how many fires hit schools or how many schools catch fire.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like tornadoes and then the active shooters should be like big.
But I'm like, I didn't understand tornadoes. I'm just like, I didn't understand what going under my desk was going to do for me.
I think it's more so like, obviously, if it destroys everything, then everybody dies, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's more so like, if stuff starts crumbling down, it protects your head.
Okay. That does make sense. Thank you for that. Because I was like, why am I sitting under, like, if this tornado is that dangerous, like.
Yeah, I think it's just like an earthquake, you know, which we don't have them over here.
Yeah.
But you get under your desk because if damage falls.
That makes sense. No teacher ever told me that. But
I don't think that should have to be told.
What do you mean it shouldn't have to be told?
It's just common sense.
Well, I didn't think stuff fell.
Protect your body, protect your head.
I was thinking like in a tornado, like everything rotating around you, and it's not like coming from the top. It's like.
Well, I think it's because like when a tornado's close, like it starts picking apart the top at first, and then it starts going. You know.
I feel what you. Well, I needed to be taught. God dang it. Yeah, you ain't have to. You had to put me on blast like that. You feel me? Let's go to the next.
Yeah, you're the one that said it.
Hey y'all, I am an American expat currently living in Kuwait. It is one of the countries in the Middle East region. Living here, I had to overcome a lot of trauma from my home country. As you can see, I am black. And being black in America, you're usually followed around stores to make sure you're not stealing. No one offers you help. No one offers you guidance. They just try to make sure you're not stealing because clearly that's what all black people do. Here, people follow you around the stores. However, it's because of the luxury of it all. I mean, they're following you around the stores holding your carts. They're placing things on the shelf. They're helping you get items. They're helping you try on things. And that was one of the traumas I had to overcome living here, that they don't think I'm a criminal. They just want me to be an actual customer.
And I've heard so many like black people in these videos say that too. And they've had those experiences. But I feel like I've like never had that experience. Ever where I've like walked into a store and been followed around, like been racially profiled about. Maybe I'm naive and I just didn't see it, or But I mean, I'm
not black, but I mean, I have had like, especially when you go into like these expensive makeup stores, they will follow you around. Like, not just like me. I'm talking about like everybody in the store. Like when you go to the mall and you go into like Pandora or Sephora or Ulta. Yeah. They will follow you around. And it is not to help you. It is to make sure you're not taking anything. I mean, they will hound you. And you get so mad to the point you're like, I'll just leave. I don't even need anything at this point. Like, forget it.
I've never had the feeling.
My mom gets so mad. She's like, we're not stealing.
That's sad. That's sad, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how do y'all expect to sell anything if you're going to hound everybody around?
Exactly.
I think it's because a lot of people, like, use the products inside of the store. Like, a lot of people, like, test it out to see if it matches their colors. Yeah. And they don't like that.
Oh. They should, why don't they do, like, Bath and Body Works and put out, like, samples of each product where you can... That would make more sense in getting more sales, because...
I don't know. Like, I literally saw on TikTok last night, there was a girl in Sephora, and she was trying to see if she could get a full face of makeup without getting caught.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but not like stealing, but like trying to put stuff on. Like, try it on. Yeah. Without getting caught. I'm like, this is why they hound people.
Yeah, well, I'm not about to spend all this money on something and not know if it looked good on me.
Right. I mean, especially because color matching is so hard.
Yeah.
So, like, when you get a foundation or something, like, you want to make sure it matches your skin tone and you don't go home and look orange.
Exactly. Because I assume makeup is one thing, like, you can't take back once you use. Or yeah. So, yeah, that's dumb. I guess I don't go into expensive stores, so that might be why I'm going into the broke. They might not care about people stealing in the stores I go into, so that might be why I've never been followed. You feel me? I stayed away from the Gucci's and all them expensive ones.
Makes sense.
Yeah, at home we had our mall is like split up into really rich side and to not so rich side.
I know. You took me that one time and I was just like looking at all the expenses because our mall doesn't have any of that. Yeah. Like, we're just like a basic mall like Old Navy and Hollister, and I go to yours and I'm like, this is fancy. Yeah. Like, I can't afford none of this. Why you bring me here?
I don't even go to that. I'm sticking to this side of the mall. Like,
I swear. Because he's like, you're not going to get anything. He's like, or like, you said something like, you don't want to go to any of these. I can't afford these. What do you mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. We're going to get back to the video.
Got this one. So, I was in Tallinn, Estonia, and I had like this really bad feeling in my chest. I felt terrible and I thought I was having a panic attack, but I wasn't totally sure. So I went downstairs to the front desk. The hospital called an ambulance. The ambulance came. They did a bunch of tests. gave me some medicine, calmed me down, and did a whole bunch of stuff. It was all done in the ambulance, and then when we were done, they gave me some medicine to go, and they were like, okay, go rest. And then I was like, okay, but what do I owe you? Like, I live in Finland, what do I owe you? And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, how do I pay for this? And they were like, oh no, this is free. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, no, this is free. Don't worry. And then I felt really guilty for everything.
Oh, we knocked my 3 out. That started the video. Before
I feel like that must be so nice though, to just like not have to worry about if you broke something or if you're sick and you going to the doctor and you have to worry about a bill.
Exactly.
I mean, literally, my nephew just went and they had to pay $400 out of pocket.
Craziness. That's insane.
For needed medicine.
It's literal insanity. I know in a lot of these other countries in Europe and stuff, they usually like take it out of your tax. They pay like a little bit higher taxes.
Yeah.
But it's like they get to see what their tax money actually goes to into benefiting them.
Right.
Like in some of these countries, like when it comes to daycare, like they got free daycare. They don't have that comes out of their taxes. So
daycare is so expensive.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like.
Well, I think I read it to you the other day, and it was like for like a 5-year-old or something like that. For like, it was like over $1,000 a month.
Yes.
A month. That's like rent.
It's basically like. One parent should just quit their job and stay home because you're really only giving your checkup for daycare anyway.
Yeah, and that's only one child. That's not if you have 2 or 3 kids. That's one child.
She's not lying, bro. She's not. It's so.
I'm like, Darian, we broke. Exactly. We can't afford childcare.
I'm like, I wouldn't mind paying more in taxes if I saw like. All right, I got hell. If I get hurt, I go to the doctor and I ain't gonna have to worry. Or I got free childcare. Or I'm going to free education after high school. I go to college and I have to worry about going to the
but instead we don't even know where our taxes go.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't even know what we're paying them for.
Preach. It's like we spend the most on medical bills in the whole entire world. Mm-hmm. Yet ours is most expensive. Like we put the most into the medical. Branch or whatever, yet we pay the most.
It's ridiculous.
It don't make sense.
It don't make no sense.
Keep it going.
9 months before I moved to Ireland, I was there on a vacation, and the person I was with, we had a car, and we stayed at a golf resort kind of in the middle of nowhere because it was the off season, so it was actually really affordable. There was a gated front entrance to this golf resort, and there was a small little village on the other side of it. And because we were pretty far back on the property, and it was January, so the weather was kind of crappy, we often would drive if we needed to run to the store for anything or to a restaurant. We became friends with the front gate attendant because we were in and out all the time. So one day we're driving to go to dinner, and I had asked him, hey, what's the legal limit for like drinking and driving here? I wasn't planning to do anything stupid, but I'm also a public health major, and knowing that Ireland is known for its drinking culture, I was curious, so I thought I'd ask. The guy looked at me completely dumbfounded. He's like, what? So I clarified the amount of alcohol you can have in your system and still legally drive. And he says, none?
So my mother...
I can understand that. But I feel like if I have one beer, I'm not going to be affected getting on the road and driving after that.
Yeah. I feel like most people have, like, one beer with, like, dinner.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that would affect anybody to drive.
Exactly. I do understand in terms of safety, like, why they say no alcohol in your system and driving.
I think I seen it on, like, a movie one time, or maybe it was a show, and he had got, like, a DUI.
Yeah.
So, like, from that point forward, like, while he was still doing that or whatever, to be able to drive, he would have to do like a breathalyzer in his car for his car to even start.
Yep.
And I think like that should be like a thing.
I do like that. I
think that should be a thing, like in every single car. Yep. Like even if you don't drink, like this is how like your car knows.
Yep.
Because I mean that would keep so many like
yep
crashes from drinking and driving.
I'm 100% behind that. I'm 100%
because if you don't drink and drive, then why would you be mad?
Yep. And if you're over the limit, you shouldn't be on the road, so your car ain't gonna start. So I 100% agree with that for sure.
There was a registered nurse. She was working at 2 separate hospitals. Both of those positions were full-time. She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She had 3 children and had to work those 2 full-time jobs for several years because she needed the health benefits because she couldn't afford her chemotherapy. So while she was going through chemo, radiation, all kinds of other treatments, because her cancer was pretty advanced and there were still some clinical trials for things. So while she was going through all of that, she still had to work about 72 hours each week. We moved to Canada shortly after she passed away, and after my father was left with over $50,000 of medical bills, and moved to Canada. Everything's free. Healthcare, just free. They just give it to you to live.
Okay.
That's just insane, bro. Like,
yeah, that's sad.
We talked about it earlier, but Jesus, man, like, these videos be having me ready to pack my bags. God dang it. I know how I avoid a lot of situations where I could get hurt, but once we had kids, they just naturally get hurt.
I mean, I can like relate. I mean, my mom had cancer twice.
Yeah. And
had to have surgeries, and I mean, it was expensive. I mean, I think at one point she was like dead set on not even having her last surgery. She was just like, I can't leave y'all with like this kind of debt if something happens.
Yeah. See?
But I mean, we ended up talking her into it. But I mean, it was expensive.
Does that debt transfer to you if something happened?
I think it still has to be paid. It doesn't just go away.
Even if the person, that don't make no sense to me.
It doesn't just go away. I mean, just like she said, it got left to her dad. So I guess in a sense it would get left to my dad. It would get left to me and my siblings.
I definitely wouldn't pay, like, if my parent passed away because bills were way too expensive and that debt got passed, I'm not paying that debt, bro.
I'm not paying it.
I'm going to Canada like they did, bro.
I mean, I think initially you're supposed to pay it, but I'm sure a lot of people don't. Not everybody can afford it.
Yes.
I mean, especially not even to make payments. I mean, you got other stuff.
I swear to God.
I think most people's debt, I feel like, just doesn't get paid.
I'd be like the dad off, was it Shameless that you showed me?
Yeah.
The dad off that show where I'm just keep going in. I'm never paying the bill. I'm never paying the doctor bill, bro. They just gonna stop treating me because I ain't never paying. That would be.
I don't think they can ever. I don't think they can refuse to.
Yeah.
Treat you. They have to treat you.
There you go.
Regardless.
I'm gonna just die with medical debt. Simply plain.
So I live in England now, but I do this thing where every time I enter a building, I like analyze like, okay, if someone comes in with a gun, where can I hide? Where can I run? What are my emergency exits? What are my chances of getting shot? So I think, okay, if he enters through this door, I'm probably going to get shot. If he enters through that door, I probably won't get shot because of the angle. And I try to like, work it out all in my head. And so one time I was on a date with this guy and we were at a bar and I was kind of like looking around like, okay, like maybe I can hide here, maybe I can hide here, just kind of like analyzing the area. And he's like, why are you looking around? Like, you look crazy. You're drawing attention to us. Like, what the hell's wrong with you, kinda? And I was gonna say, oh, I'm just looking for an emergency exit or place to hide in case someone comes in with a gun. And then I realized gun crime isn't really a thing here. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you do that?
I think most females do, whether it's like guns or you just think about like an intruder. Like, no matter where you are, so like being at home, like obviously I've planned out like where I could, like, if he came in this way, like he said, if you come in over here, if he comes in over here, which way could I get out? And then I feel like a lot of people do that. Especially when I lived back at home at my mom's, and then I had like my nephews and my nieces there. Yeah. And I would just think about like, okay, if I'm ever home alone with them, like if somebody breaks in, like how am I gonna get them out and myself out and like safely where nobody gets hurt? Like, where am I gonna hide them? Where's my escape route?
My thing is, you do all that analyzing, but at the same time, y'all will also leave the door unlocked.
I know. I know. When you went to Texas, when you try to come home, what happened? I had both locks. He said, we use both locks now? Yes, we do.
I swear to God.
If I'm home alone, we do.
Nah, I think I'm not. I think I might just be naive to danger. I think like my mindset is just like nothing will ever happen to me. Like
it drives me crazy. But I feel like most men don't see a whole lot of danger in things.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a woman, you grow up like being taught. Like,
I feel that
all these things.
World is a dangerous.
And then
place.
especially my parents. I mean, my mom had me watch like true crime stories.
Yeah.
About like women being murdered from like their husband or a stranger or somebody breaking in or.
Yeah.
And it's just like you grow up and then we're scared of everything.
I should. I just walk around like nothing ever gonna happen to me. Like
it drives me crazy because you be like, that can't happen to me. I'm like, don't say that.
I don't do these things. Let's continue with the video.
Gosh, such a great question. I have so many. The one that sticks out in my mind right now is the first time I celebrated the 4th of July and the Kiwis were like, oh, happy 4th of July. And I'm like, yeah, suckers. We broke away from the Queen a long time ago and we have freedom and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, hold on. What freedoms don't we have? And why is it bad that other countries work together to protect each other and help each other? And America's always talking about freedom and what freedoms do you have that we don't have? And I was like, hold up. All this rhetoric that I was told my whole life, the land of the free, we need to fight for our freedom, and it's such a value in the American society. And when you think about how many countries are just as free, where does this freedom value come from? I mean, it came back from the Revolutionary War, but hello, there's a lot of countries that are free. It was eye-opening.
I swear to God, she's not lying. Like, you grow up in America, freedom is one of the things that just get put in your head the most.
Yeah, I feel like I was always like told that we were the only country that was free.
I swear to God, you get told that we just the best at everything. And
yeah, I think I was told that like all these other countries like hated us because we had freedom and they didn't, and
and then you grow up and I learned through these videos on YouTube and stuff like so many things about these other countries. I'm like, bro, they got the same freedoms.
Yeah.
The food quality better. They got great health care, affordable health care. They got it's a safer place. All these things, and I'm like, hey, I still love America. Don't get it twisted.
I think some of them, and I think because some of the countries are still like they don't have the freedom of like how many kids they have and stuff like that.
What
like like
that?
I don't know, but I've heard of them and I can't think of what it is. But it's like some of them, like once you have one, you can't have another.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I.
Or like if you like say because you want a son, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we get pregnant and have a daughter first, well, if I fall pregnant again and I'm not allowed to have another kid, if it ends up being a boy, we can choose to keep the boy or kill off the girl.
Nah.
But you're only allowed one.
Oh, everything. I ain't never heard of them. I guess I heard what you're talking about, but I don't. I guess that would be like a terrorist country or something. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Y'all talk to me in the comment section if y'all know what country she's talking about.
I don't even know what country I'm talking about, but I've heard it.
If it maybe used to be a thing and it's changed now or still a thing, so
let me know.
Talk to us in the comment section. But yeah, there's so much to the rest of the world that we just don't get taught here. I feel like anytime on the news we see other countries around the world, they only show us like bad parts or dangerous parts or stuff like that. We don't get shown like all the great stuff about other countries. But keep it rolling.
So I'm an American who's currently living in Canada, and in 2019 I was working on a film set and we were breaking for lunch, and I promise this isn't a joke setup, but it was an American, a Canadian, a New Zealander, and an Australian were all waiting and having lunch together. And a truck backfires. Thinking it was a gunshot, I immediately hop underneath the table and am looking around before I realize what it was. And as I slowly get up, everybody's like, what? What is she? And the Australian goes, you're an American. That's right. Yeah.
That's embarrassing, bro. That's embarrassing.
So in about 2012, 2013, I lived in the Netherlands and I was learning Dutch. So when I watched the news with the Dutch subtitles,
oh yeah,
my
that fireball hitting her, boy.
Yeah, it is.
Got us learn a little bit.
When I watched the news with the Dutch subtitles, my host mom would explain to me what was going on. And I saw this priest and apparently he had been stabbed. And I'm like, oh, why is he on the news? He's been stabbed, but he's still alive. And she was talking about, like, you know, how it was a big thing because priests don't typically get stabbed, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still wondering, like, what's the big deal? And then she's like, well, Sarah, you're from America, you have guns. And I'm like, well, yeah, we have guns. And she's like, well, over here we don't have guns. So this is big news because this guy was stabbed. And I'm still sitting there like he's still alive. And that's when I realized we're a bit up. Because I was questioning why a priest being stabbed was news.
If he was dead, how would he be on the news?
I wasn't drunk at the time, but good point.
Okay, so I came up to Ontario.
Yeah, I feel like they only like show the worst of the news.
Yeah.
And so if you get stabbed and survived, yeah, you're probably
not making the news over here. But if you get
killed, then it'll be
you get killed, you get shot, you get kidnapped.
Yeah. They'll put your. I guess you can't be on the news and say nothing, but your picture gonna be on the news and what happened.
You know, like now that I think about it, have you realized how much like Amber Alerts have changed?
What you mean?
Like, you know, they used to like give like a whole description of like what that child looked like, and
did they?
Yeah, and now they don't even do that. Now they literally give you like the make of the car and the year, and that's it. That's the only information they give you.
Oh, everything.
Like, how do you expect us to find that?
I swear to God.
Like, you know how many cars are that make and that year?
Need a license plate.
Yeah, and how many people know what like that year model looks like?
I swear to, I don't know cars.
I just be like, hey, this is the model.
I don't know. I guess they give you the color too, though, right? Color.
I don't know.
I feel like if they don't give you the cover, you stuck.
And they just kind of tell you like the area, so like.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense because it's like, how are we supposed to know? Like, what if we saw that kid and we didn't even know what the kid looked like, so we didn't know.
I don't be Amber Alerts. I get them, but like I don't know. Like, but they have saved people's lives.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know how any of us are supposed to help.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, if we see something, we're supposed to say something, but how do we know what we're seeing?
Factual. I understand.
A few years ago for school after already getting my bachelor's in the States. And me and my office mate were sitting there going through our bills because they had just come out and our research fellowships are being applied. And I was like, oh, look, like, wow, this is like really cheap. And she looks at me and she's like, what are you talking about? Especially yours. Yours is like several grand more than mine just because you're international. I was so used to paying so much for university in the States that I thought Canadian tuition was cheap. When really it's not. So, yeah. Thanks, America.
Yeah. It's just comparatively cheap.
Okay, so I've got this one. So I went to South India in 2013 for a school trip, and we all ate at a restaurant, and most of us got food poisoning and ended up getting really, really sick, couldn't keep anything down, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole work. There were two of us, me and another kid, that were really not doing hot. We were getting really dehydrated, and so they ended up sending us to a hospital. We took a tuk-tuk and went to the emergency room. I ended up getting 2 IV bags and spending a few hours there. And at the end, when they told me how much it was going to be when I left, they told me $9. Being an American, I was like, hold up. Did he mean 900, 9,000, right? No, $9. $9 for medication, IV, emergency, everything. What?
That's crazy. I can't even imagine it being $9, bro. Well, yeah, we gotta get all this fixed, man. But that's all we got for this video. You got anything to say? Make sure y'all subscribe, ring notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. We out.